Hey, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film this video that I'm actually filming this clip probably too early, but I am getting ready to break in my Kobo Libra color. In my very first video back, I was purchasing this. I've had it for 2 days, or is it 3 days now? I still have not read on it yet. I actually still have it in here. You can see the book that I have on it because I was so excited to go ahead and put my books on here. You guys know I do already have 2 Kindles. I got them for 2 different reasons. I also bought this for its own reason. I'm sure if you watch my videos, y'all are so tired of me repeating the same stuff over and over, but I might have new people here. My library uses Cloud Library as their e-reader or ebook / audiobook app. And that app is not compatible with Kindles. I'm sure maybe if you have like a Amazon Fire tablet, Kindle Fire, whatever, sure, because you can actually download the app. But as far as like sending the books from Cloud Library to your Paperwhites, your basic, you can't do that. I can't tell you the last time I've read a library book because I go through phases. Sometimes I want to read a physical book. Sometimes I want to read on my e-reader. Lately, since I've been back to reading like this year, because I'd started a new job back in March, and that really changed my reading habits. And as of right now, still, because it's June 27th, I still don't want to read any physical book. Now here's the thing. What I read from my library, I don't necessarily read on my Kindles. Because you're probably like, girl, I mean, you could see if it's on KU, or you could see, which it's most likely not going to be on KU, but you could see, you could buy the ebook or something. No. And actually, I wouldn't even want, this is so odd of me, but even if even if Amazon updated the setup for Kindles and I could send my Cloud Library books, I wouldn't even want to do that. I wouldn't want to read them on my Kindles. My next best thing was to get a whole nother e-reader. I was debating on a Kobo, specifically a Libra color and or a Kobo Sage, but I was nervous about the size of the Sage, but also it was out of stock and it was very expensive. This was also expensive, but I did get it on sale. I got it for $229. Came in so quick. I mean, maybe within 4 days of me placing the order. So yeah, it was between this, a books, specifically a books page, a books leaf, and or a Big Me B7, whatever. I did speak about that in my first video back. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but what I didn't add, another reason why I didn't wanna go through with the books brand or whatever and the Big Me is because yes, you can use them for e-readers, but they're e-ink tablets. I didn't know how much more my battery would deplete because it's meant for all kinds of things, even though I'm using it for reading. This battery, I'm hoping is gonna be the same as my Amazon batteries, my Kindle batteries. What I was nervous about this is that it is in color. I don't care about no color. I'm reading chapter books. Do people even still say that? But I'm not reading manga. I'm not reading comic books. I'm not reading books with pictures besides the cover having a picture and or the author putting a design on the chapter header. And even then, a lot of them use black and white anyway. And I also didn't know what kind of issues, or I don't know what kind of issues I might run into because this is in color. That's enough of me rambling. I have not used this, but I'm so excited. But before I do that, I do already have 2 books from my library on it. Y'all, it was so difficult. I attempted to film this morning my updates on my Kobo. I just did not like how it came out. I don't think the way I spoke about the Kobo was that bad, but then I started talking about the book I was reading, and y'all, I hate talking about the synopsis of a book. I feel like I butcher it every time, and I was supposed to write the synopsis down, and I didn't, which, I mean, I was doing my work, so that makes sense. I have actually been reading on my Kobo. I've actually been reading the same book for like 4 days, 3 days. Let's talk about the Kobo. I'm actually really loving it. I got the Kobo last Wednesday, today's Tuesday, and then I got my case in yesterday. I'm normally not that picky about a case. I'm lying. I do not like the cases that flip, you know, with the cover, but I've seen a lot of people saying how they broke their screen for their Kobo. And an e-ink screen is very fragile. Honestly, I didn't know that until like probably this year when I was hunting for a new Kobo. Well, not a new Kobo, but a new e-reader. Because my Kindles have been through the ringer. I mean, I sleep with it on the bed. It'll fall sometimes. It'll hit the carpet. It just goes in my bag sometimes. I don't always put it in this, which I try to. Because I've been seeing that a lot with people with their kobos, we're gonna have to get a cover case. And I do not like a cover case just because obviously the ones that I remember were the ones that you couldn't take off. You could only just flip it. If you wanted to take it off, you would just have to take the whole e-reader out. And I don't know how long that's been a thing, but I decided to get the one with the magnetic thing. So obviously when I'm reading, I take it off and I just read with this on. Plus, because it is magnetic, I think it is a bit difficult to like fold it, in my opinion. And maybe I just don't like seeing the folded whatever, but I don't like that anyway, so I'm not doing it. Close. Obviously you open it and then it turns on very quick. It can obviously rotate. As of right now, I can only go like this or like this. You can also rotate it this way, but I have it locked so that it doesn't do that because, I mean, I don't really read like that. Sometimes I do if I want a different way to read because you can also do that on Kindles. A lot of people don't know that. The past few mornings that I've been reading, I'm in bed and I can do this without it changing. Had I not locked it, it would want to rotate. Now let's talk about the buttons. You can change how they're programmed. If you want the top button to be your forward button and or back button, you can do that. I believe the way you get them, the bottom button is your forward and the top button is your back button. Now if you flip it, it's still going to be your bottom button that flips you forward or turns you forward. You literally have to go into the settings and turn that off. I like how you can take the header and the footer off. On a Kindle, I think it always shows something at the top, whether that be like the name of the book or the author's name. Your progress is what shows at the bottom, and you can decide to take that off or not. This one, you can take everything off. So this is my book. Right now, I do have a header on. I will be taking it off at some point, but and I do have something. Let me just take it completely off. So this is what it looks like with nothing. There's nothing at the top and there's nothing at the bottom. You go. Oh, another thing that I really like, I don't know if Kindles do that. I'm pretty sure they don't. But if you click in the middle of the screen, it's not going to turn the page. My Kindles always do that. If I don't press super high up or super low or super to the left, it's going to turn my page. Unless I want to see the menu at the top, I have to tap at the top or swipe it down. This, you just need to tap the middle. Then there's a settings gear thingamabob. Don't show out now. Okay, so your header. Now your header will only show you things pertaining to the chapter that you're in, and your footer will be pertaining to the book. The header, you can choose, right now I have it off, you can choose to see pages left in the chapter, percent of chapter read, or time remaining in chapter. That's what I have on. Just because the book that I'm reading is very long and I can't do it. Like, I need to see my progress. And then your footer is going to show you the same thing, just pertaining to the entire book. So your pages left in book, percent of book read, and the time remaining in the book, and then obviously you can turn it off. Right now I have the footer off. However, I really like this. This is show book progress bar. If I turn this on, you can see this line at the bottom. Now, mind you, I'm about 71% into the book, and that's exactly what it's showing. And then obviously, if you looked, that's the button controls. This is your default. So your next page is your bottom button, and then this is your previous page, and then you can invert. So you would want your next at the top, but I don't want that. I thought I wanted it to be different. I think there's 3 pages of settings. Yeah, and then I'll do auto rotate. And so now I can turn it like this. I wonder if I can turn it this way. Yeah, nope. Yep. Okay, anyways, let's go back. Yeah, I haven't really tried anything else. I'm like barely showing y'all what's going on. What is this? I don't really care. Okay. Not bad, very easy to read on. Oh, the size. I was nervous about the size because it's 7 inches. And it's one of the reasons when I was looking for a newer Kindle back in 2024 or 2025. But back in 2024, Amazon did a new line of a bunch of their e-readers, and the Kindle Paperwhite got a new look, right? My Kindle Paperwhite from 2021 is 6 inches. The display screen is 6 inches. And a lot of people who waited, to get like the newer one, they're like, oh, I just wish the Kindle Paperwhite were 6 inches because they started making them 7-inch display screens. And I'm like, oh, mine is 6 inches. but it's one of the reasons why I decided to go with a Kindle Basic as my updated Kindle. And also it was different than the Paperwhite, but that one was also 6 inches. So when I saw the Kobo was 7 inches, I'm like, oof, I don't know if that's gonna be too big or not. The reason why this still feels small is because of how the height and length are proportioned, if that makes sense. Kindles, like Kindle Paperwhite, Kindle Basic, has more height to it, whereas this one, it's like a square, right? Kindles are almost like a rectangle. This one is a square, and I like that, so it doesn't feel that small. I got this specifically for my library books, and yesterday I went ahead and downloaded. I need my fan, y'all. Give me a second. I'll just put it on one. What was I saying? Oh, shoots. I don't remember what I was saying. Well, let's talk about the book. If I remember, then I'll tell y'all. If not, maybe once I'm editing, I'll put what I was trying to say or finish my thoughts. But I did start The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. It's not bad. It's just very long. Oh, the library books. So yeah, yesterday I downloaded fonts. I cannot use them with all of my library books. Specifically, The Summer Girlfriend. I forgot that publishers will lock their ebooks to where you cannot change the font. You cannot change the spacing between the words and whatnot, and The Summer Girlfriend is like that. Now mind you can change the font size, but that's about it. You can't change anything else. That sucks because I got this for my library books. Now I did test it out on one other book that I got from the library, and I am able to change up the font and the spacing and all of that. Now for me personally, I do like the font that is set for, I sound like a robot, that's set for The Summer Girlfriend. It's not bad, but I also don't need any type of accessibility, you know, for me, but someone out there might need it. The only thing they'll be able to do is make the font bigger. But anyway, The Summer Girlfriend. Let's hope I don't butcher what it's about because that's why I wanted to redo this entire clip, and it's already been 16 minutes and 49, 50, 51 seconds. We have Noelle and Jeremiah. Let's start with Noelle because that's who we start with in the story. Noelle has 2 jobs. She works at a bookstore, and she is a bride, what do you call it? Not a rented bridesmaid, but someone who doesn't have a bridesmaid or needs another can purchase, I hate to say purchase, but can purchase her, that doesn't sound right, but can acquire her assistance. And she gets paid for it. That's her job. Now, she doesn't get all of the money. There is a woman that she works for. Like, that is, I forgot what you call it. But it's a thing. And I'm sure it exists in real life. I actually have read it in another book as well. She gets extra money from that. I think that actually pays her better than her book job because they've cut her hours and whatnot. Her dream is to go back to school to complete her bachelor's, get her master's because she wants to be a librarian. She ends up getting fired from her book job. She gets into an uncomfortable situation. Jeremiah, our MMC, is walking into the bookstore. He kind of, just looks at him, walks inside. He comes back out because something was telling him, hey, she looks uncomfortable, let me save her. Now, Jeremiah, he's rich for sure. His grandparents started a cookie business whenever his mom, so Jeremiah's mom, Celeste, was like 6 years old. And it's very popular. And it just so happens that Noelle enjoys those cookies. Like, she loves those cookies. But his sister, Amara, I'm thinking about Love Island because her name is Amara. I think his sister's name is Amara. Anyway, her birthday's coming up, so that's why he's there. She's a reader. He comes back out and he saves her. Hey, I thought I recognized you, yada, yada, yada. She goes with it. And she ends up spilling the beans about everything I just told you. She wants to go to school or go back to school, but she's just been fired. She's going to finish off her shift. She does this bridesmaid thing. Now, what she doesn't know is that Jeremiah has come up with a plan for a fake girlfriend because his mom keeps asking him to go to their beach house, and he keeps, I can't, my girlfriend, da, 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 da. She's like, bring your girlfriend. I'm just gonna have to come up with this elaborate plan and use someone to be my fake girlfriend. And she agrees. And so she goes with him to the beach house. They're playing pretend partners. I'm enjoying it. I love Christina Forrest. She's one of my favorite authors of all time, honestly. She's in my top 5. It's long, and I'm feeling it, which is what I don't like. I like to be done with my books, in 3 days. I say 3 days, but 3 days tops, and it's already Tuesday. I'm hoping to finish it today. I won't be reading it for lunch. I mean, it's already 1:31. I still have a little over 30 minutes, maybe like 35 or 34. And you know what? Maybe I might read. I did wake up early this morning to read some. I couldn't sleep. Oh, the one thing that was throwing me in the story is she was lying for no reason. And maybe she was just like, I don't know, nervous. They come up with a story to tell his mom and his siblings, his family. They end up asking her, like, what does she do? She lies and says she's a librarian. All she had to do was tell the truth right there. But I think she's also nervous that because he is so well off, or his family won't accept her. Oh, the other thing. A part of this plan, mind you, y'all, I hate talking about the synopsis of a book. I feel like I'm never good at it because I want to tell y'all the whole thing. My camera ended up turning off. I used all of, I guess, my memory on here and I had to delete a video. Part of their plan is that this first weekend, it's only supposed to be one weekend. Friday to Sunday. They decide on the last day of that weekend that they're going to fake break up because he is, and this is true, he is moving to California. They're gonna fake break up because she wants to move with him, but he doesn't want her to, and yada, yada, yada. In my head, I'm like, why did y'all need to fake break up? Why not just end it there and then go your separate ways? And if they want to invite her again somewhere, you tell them that y'all broke up. I feel like they made this into a bigger deal than it was. I fear. I've been home for a few hours now and I haven't been doing anything I'm supposed to be doing. Let's get into it. First things first, I think this is gonna be my last day filming for this video. This is just a break in my kobo. I have finally finished my first book on it that I will talk about. I did start another book. I'm planning on doing a weekend reading vlog tomorrow, which is Friday the 3rd of July, which by the way, I make 9 years natural tomorrow. I did my big chop July 3rd, 2017. With that being said, which one is my notes? I do have kobo notes. I might save this for the very end. Let's start with the book though. The first book, and this was book 50 of the year. What was it called? The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. I know I can't believe I'm only just getting to 50 right now. I'd normally probably be past 50, but that was actually my goal for this year. Kudos to me. With that being said, I'm gonna give it a 4-star. I'm doing this like y'all can see it. Hold on. Okay, let me take this off. See it, see it? It's gonna go a little darker, or get a little darker. That's not even it, y'all. But I'm gonna keep that out too. I forgot I already returned it to the library. Yes, so The Summer Girlfriend, I'm gonna give a 4-star. I thought about giving it under a 4, but it feels unfair to the book because I think it's not that the book wasn't good. I was just excited to be reading on my kobo. I wanted to, you know, hurry up and finish a book. It just so happens that this book was long. So I'm thinking I'm making progress and I'm not, because the book is so long. So I think I did say at some point I did have to turn on like how many minutes left I had in the chapter and stuff like that. So that kind of did take me out of it. But when I really think back on the story itself was really good. I enjoyed the romance. I loathe long romances. If you know, you know. I don't think I've ever mentioned this though, but I do have one exception. And that is, how do I word this? There are certain romances that I could understand being long. Now, a long book to me in general is 370 pages plus. Who is that outside? Don't be messing with me, because I fight. Not really. Hold on. What are y'all doing? It's garbage. The trash truck. Y'all can be a little more quiet. What was I saying? Yeah, 370 plus, that's a long book. Oh yeah. But how would I word it? There are certain tropes, certain plots that can kind of make sense why it would be long. And this book to me does fall into that category, simply because of the fake dating trope and how Christina Forrest decided to have the story progress. But then again, if 370 is already too much and I wanted it to be at 360, that's only what, 30 more pages. Just take 30 pages out somewhere. Please, somewhere. This one, you know, they go from strangers to fake dating and then actually catching feelings, but then they're in denial. So it made sense why the book was so long, but at the same time, we can cut at least 30 pages off. But I've read all of Christina Forrest's books. I keep up with her books, so this is the last one that I needed to catch up with. And I think Zyla and Kai might even be longer than this one. And I enjoy Zyla and Kai. And I read it physically. I did start another book. I don't want to talk about that just yet. Oh, do I want to talk about that first or the kobo itself? I'm going to save my kobo thoughts for the end after I talk about my other book that I started. So the other book, because I did show y'all already, is called A Summer for the Books. Ooh. Fans of Jennifer Weiner and Sunny Hostin will love this emotional dual timeline novel about two former besties finding their way back to each other. To heal their friendship, they'll have to face their past. Jewel Stone is one of our main characters. She has it all: the perfect marriage, a best-selling author career, her dream home, or so she likes everyone to believe. But between her writer's block and her husband losing his job, her picture-perfect life is in shambles, and inspiration just isn't hitting until she receives a call she never expected. Her former best friend needs her help. Now we have Shelby. Shelby Andrews wakes up in the hospital after a biking accident. She can't remember the last 12 years. She knows she owns a bookstore on the beach, but she has no memory of Lacey, her 19-year-old adopted daughter, who's away for the summer. There's only one person who can help Shelby through this, her bestie Jewel. With so many secrets and heartbreaks between them, Jewel and Shelby haven't spoken in years. Yet Jewel can't turn away from the friend who doesn't remember their fallout. Besides, the best writing she's ever done was with Shelby. But when they learn Lacey's really spending her summer searching for her birth parents, their tentative reunion might just unravel along with all of their secrets. I'm not that far into it, so I'm wondering if I should tell y'all what I think has happened, because it's not a mystery. So I don't feel like what I want to tell y'all what I think is happening is a big deal, because I'm also just making an assumption. And this assumption is based off of, where am I at? I'm on chapter 3, 7%. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm just gonna tell y'all literally what I've read. The prologue starts with two girls in college. One of them must have been pregnant, and they leave the baby on the doorstep of someone's house or whatever. Ooh, okay, it's raining. Chapter 1 starts. We start with Jewel, who is the author. We find out that one of her best-selling novels is being turned into a limited series or something like that. So she is revisiting her book because it's been a while. The prologue was a deleted chapter or deleted prologue from that book. I am thinking she pulled from her real life relationship, or I say relationship, but friendship with Shelby. That is real. We get chapter 2, which is Shelby's POV. She has an adoptive daughter named Lacey. Lacey is going off to a friend's for the summer. That's what Shelby thinks, which she is, but she doesn't know what they're about to be up to. And Lacey and her BFF are gonna be looking for her birth parents. Shelby is aware that Lacey would like to look for her birth parents. Shelby is against it. However, after she's dropped off her daughter, she's in this biking club, not the run club, like one for bikes. She gets into a biking accident. You should have gotten in your car. You already almost got ran over on the bike. One of the guys there told you to just Uber back to your car, and you did, and you still wanted to make your 30 miles or whatever. So you get back on the bike, and now you get hurt. Now here's the thing. Where am I at? I think I'm in that chapter. What chapter am I in? I'm in 3, so that was 2. I'm in Lacey's point of view right now. She has chapter 3. So we find out that her and her best friend are going to look for her birth parents. We did get a hint in Shelby's point of view in chapter 2 that the falling out that she had with Jewel had something to do with her adopting Lacey. I think the reason why Shelby, because it's gotta be Shelby that's gonna call Jewel. I mean, who else would call Jewel to tell her that Shelby is hurt if they're not friends anymore? So I'm thinking if she's forgotten the last 12 years, she's maybe obviously remembered things before then, so maybe she's in that same frame of mind where she's besties with Jewel. I think the reason why they had a falling out is because they know that Lacey is Jewel's daughter and Jewel didn't want her adopting Lacey. But I don't know. It's literally just an assumption. Even if I am right, I don't think that's gonna be the point. At the same time, I don't think that's gonna be the point of this book. That's why I'm not mad that I think my assumptions are right, because again, I don't think that's the point of this. The point of this is gonna be the friendship of it all, like the healing process and coming to terms with, you know, why they had a falling out. I think that's gonna be the point of this book, not it being a mystery, like, well, who's Lacey's parents and da da da, you know? No, I think it's gonna be like, I think I read that, you know, an emotional ride. The only thing that makes me nervous, because y'all know I like to say that, I accidentally looked on Storygraph and I peeped the rating of the book. Yes, it's a 3.08, very low. However, it's Storygraph, and I haven't seen many people talk about this book, which means if I go on Storygraph right now and I look at the number of ratings or reviews, it's probably 10. And if more than half of them gave it a 3-star, and then I did see one give it a 2.5, like that makes sense why it would be a 3.08. But if I go on Goodreads, which I don't have, you know what, I'm gonna look it up because I was so curious this morning. I don't use Goodreads. I don't think the Goodreads ratings are accurate, but I also don't think that the Storygraph one is super accurate either. I feel like it could be more accurate because I mean with Goodreads, maybe not a lot of times, but that's really, what I'm about to say really happens with a lot of the big name authors, but you know, they see their favorite author has a book coming out, they'll go and give it a 5-star. Girl, you didn't read the book yet. How are you giving it a 5-star? You know, or the opposite, they'll give it a 1-star because they don't like that author. I think if this is saying a 3.08 on Storygraph, I'm thinking it could be a 3.5 on Goodreads. I don't think it's gonna be that low. I'd actually be shocked if it was the same rating. That almost never happens. It's almost always higher on Goodreads, just because the amount of people that are reviewing and using Goodreads. A Summer for the Books Goodreads, 3.47, like I said, almost a 3.5. So that's not bad for a book at all. So this one has 686 ratings, 161 reviews. Let's see what Storygraph has. 62. Like, duh. And also, when it comes to these kinds of books, should I say this? Which I think I've said it before. Anytime it comes to a black book specifically, I only care what my peeps have to say. That's it. And I mean, not everyone's gonna have a profile picture, but I see someone gave it a 2.5. They're not one of my peeps. I don't trust you. Like, I don't trust you reading my peeps' books. You know what I mean? I don't trust your opinion on that kind of stuff, nor do I care. Is that harsh? So we still gonna read the book. And actually, I'm enjoying it. It's been a day. It's only 1:36. I'm on my lunch and it's time to go home. We need to like reset and restart tomorrow. You'd swear it was Monday. It is not Monday, it's Tuesday. I did finish reading A Summer for the Books. However, that is in its own video and it'll be out next week, the video after this one. So you guys will stay tuned for my thoughts. But I will say I enjoyed it. It wasn't a 5-star, but I did enjoy it. I'm gonna go into more detail in that video. But I do want to talk more about the kobo. I was supposed to do this yesterday. I said this in my other video that I'm working on. I've been doing okay with balancing my editing, my filming, reading, and yet thought I had the paper with my notes on it yesterday. Did not. I did have 2 papers with notes, but it wasn't for the kobo. I also do not have the kobo with me. I'm currently reading a KU book. I didn't realize at the time that now I'm gonna be worrying about the buttons. The buttons are fine. However, it makes this clicking sound when you do this. Yes, y'all are mad too. I think it's normal. Like if I actually try and move the button side to side, it does not move. It's just this sound of like you think it's moving because it's clicking, and I don't like that. So what I've been doing is I'll read it one way or another. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna anyways, I read it one way and I click, you know, using my bottom button as my next button. And then sometimes I'll go ahead and flip it. Not flip the buttons, but just flip the device. And that way my bottom button is still my next button. But now that I flipped it, I'm using the other button. I've also just been pressing the actual screen. I mean, it's still a touch screen. And what I love about it, it's just so comfortable. Ever since I picked my Kindle back up, I literally told my mom yesterday, this feels so small. Now, mind you, it is smaller. The display screen is only 6 inches. The kobo Kobo is 7. It's the way I don't want to say the weight is distributed, but like how it looks. This is more, and I might have said that already, the Kindle is more of a rectangle, whereas the Kobo is more square, and I really like that. I find that when I read, I can actually read like this. With my Kindle, there's no need for me to hold it like this because it's too small to do it like that. My hands are together, you know what I mean? Whereas with the Kobo, you know, I can do it like this. So I really like that. Storygraph integration. You guys know that I use Storygraph. If you don't know, now you know. They finally did the update, I don't know, maybe 3 days ago. I'm gonna most likely take it off. If you haven't heard what it is, it's just like Goodreads for Kindle. Except, actually, I feel like it's a little, I don't want to say a little better because there is a problem with it. As soon as you open up a book on your Kobo, it's gonna log you in on Storygraph that you started reading something. The problem is, it's anytime you open up a book. You maybe didn't even start reading it yet. You just open the book. Next thing you know, you go on Storygraph and it's there. The other issue is it doesn't work for side-loaded books, which is how I'm reading on there because I'm downloading my books from Cloud Library. So that doesn't work. So I still have to manually input that information. When I started it, what percentage I'm on, whatever. That's fine with me. Lastly, because that's the only other thing I wrote, and I don't think I had anything else other to say, I do not feel it made my reading quicker, which I don't start a book with the intention of finishing it in a day. I would hope to finish it in a timely manner. I like to spend at most 3 days on a book. I feel like anything after 3, there's something wrong because I already don't read long books. It did not feel like I was making progress. Why is it raining like this? I have an umbrella, but I don't want to fall. So the chapters are correct. That shouldn't have changed because it's a Cloud Library book. I don't know if this is a Cloud Library thing and how they're stored on there, but the page count is not correct. So for example, I may have already mentioned this, but the Summer Girlfriend on my Kobo using my Cloud Library copy said that it was 295 pages. So I'm over here reading thinking I'm making progress, and then I'm only making like 5% progress. Like, what do you mean I've only read like 2 chapters? I feel like I've read 10. But then you go on Amazon and the page count is actually 393. I think that because the page count is not accurate, that's also messing with how fast I think I'm reading something. And I also checked the Summer for the Books. A Summer for the Books was showing 313 pages on my Kobo. It's 350 something pages, which that's still not as bad as 295 to 393. I still felt like I was taking forever to get through the book. However, I'm loving it. I could see myself getting another Kobo. However, I would return or sell my Kobo. I don't think it would be like my Kindle where, you know, I bought my new Kindle, but I still have my old Kindle. I don't think I would want to keep it because I'm only using it for library books. That wouldn't be necessary for me. Anyways, that is it for today's video. If you watched the whole thing through, comment down below this emoji, and I'll see you next week.